Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. Today we move on to the Micromaster Transport release, the Decepticon known as Flattop. Now this is from the first wave of Micromaster Transport releases. Flattop is also of course the military designation for an aircraft carrier, of which we have an aircraft carrier. That said, this is actually Flattop, who's the plane. The aircraft carrier doesn't have a name, it's just the transport. It also has to be the shortest runway to plane size I think I've ever seen, including the Autobot base. No, it's a Decepticon base, isn't it? Which transforms into a carrier with a plane. That is the shortest. The plane is almost half the size of the carrier. I hope it's a vertical takeoff, because let's face it, you'd never get enough speed there to take off. Now, in terms of actual carrier, it's actually quite convincing. Obviously, you've got the guns on the side here, but if the guns weren't there, he says, there we are. If the gun wasn't there, it's quite convincing as an aircraft carrier, isn't it? You've obviously got the markings on there for the takeoffs. You've got more takeoff there, and you've even got the carrier base there too. So yeah, it's relatively convincing. Size-wise, obviously the Micromaster is far too big compared with the actual carrier, but the aircraft carrier is actually quite good. As for the plane himself, Flattop, it's not too bad, is it? It doesn't quite feel proportioned right, does it? This bit is the fuselage is far too chunky compared to the wing size, but from the front it looks quite alright, doesn't it? Not bad. Colour scheme between the two is quite nice as well. They both got the purple and the grey, with it reversed for the aircraft being predominantly purple, whereas the carrier is predominantly grey. So, transforming. So, Flattop himself has been released several times, but this is the first one. It actually breaks in two here. And as you can see, you've kind of got these parts here become his arms in a way. You can see his head is actually in the middle, so it's a slightly odd transformation, because you kind of have to fiddle around so it goes like that. It almost goes in two, and it goes up like that. Goes down, so you've got now what was the bottom of the plane becomes the bottom, so you kind of see it's kind of like that. It's a bit of an odd transformation. His arms are very, very odd looking, because they are obviously I guess they're missiles, or are they fuel tanks for the plane, and they start halfway down his body. It's bizarre. I mean, you just look at them. He's got non-existent shoulders, and his arms start halfway down his chest. It's really weird, and frankly, it looks absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. If you had that, you know, if you were in combat and that came up against you, twice you'd probably lose a battle because you'd be laughing. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But here we go. Obviously, they liked it so much they released it again later on. But let's go on. Now the aircraft carrier itself transforms too. Let's hope it's a better transformation. So let's get rid of this part here. That is of course the aircraft bit, so now it's just literally a flat top. It actually flips over, so you're looking at this side being the top bit. That flips up like so to form. Oh no, it looks like it's going to form into a plane, doesn't it? Oh no, not another plane. These flip round, but you haven't got any wings. They flip like that. There you are. It's a pretty basic transformation. This can go up so he can hold on. It's a jet. So it's a jet which pilots a jet. You can stand on it and in theory hold it. Can he sit down? Well, no, not really. Well, kind of. That does bend in the right way, but there's nowhere to slot it in. So you can kind of go like that. So you can sit down. Yeah. We're going to have him standing up. I'm going to try and have him standing up. So there is kind of a little slot there which is kind of going. and then he kind of is meant to be able to, in theory, hold on to that. These guns don't have to sit on the back here. You can take them off, and as you can see, there's a corresponding peg there, so you can have them further out the front. Oh, what do I think? Well, ignoring the fact that you somehow have a jet piloting a jet, which was an aircraft carrier, the actual plane here isn't too bad. I mean, it would have been nice to see some coloration here, because that's obviously meant to be the cockpit, but it's just one solid mass of purple. It's a bit compromising. You've got a wheel sticking out here, which is obviously for the aircraft carrier, and then you've got wheels down here, which were on the aircraft carrier. They weren't too noticeable, so that wasn't too big a distraction. The actual stylings of the jet, if we look at it like that, is actually pretty decent. I'm not sure what jet it's meant to represent, because it's got the wings at the front and then you've got a double tail fin there. But it's not too bad. It looks a bit odd because obviously with the Micromaster having to stand up to sit in it effectively, because he can't sit down and stay sit down, he has to stand up. It puts the jet really out of proportion. It makes it look more like a skid or a toboggan or something when it's actually meant to be a jet. It's a nice idea, I'll give it that. In fact, you've got the world's smallest aircraft carrier transforms into the world's smallest jet if you take the Micromaster size into it. But it's not too bad. It's a different idea. It's mobile. There's very few water-based transformers out there. So the aircraft carrier idea is quite an innovative one. The fact it transforms into yet another plane is, well, not unexpected, as most Decepticons were planes. The fact that he's a jet himself is a bit odd. I could perhaps have understood more if Flattop himself wasn't a jet, maybe if he were another boat, or I'm not sure what else you put on an aircraft carrier though, so I can kind of understand why they made him a jet into a jet. Flattop himself is a very ineffective transformation. The jet mode isn't too bad, but the robot mode is silly, predominantly because of the placement of the arms. The aircraft carrier is a very good aircraft carrier, it has to be said. It's quite convincing. The plane mode is a bit more of a letdown. It's not too bad, but it's nowhere near as good as the aircraft carrier. So I would suggest you have these guys mainly in their transformation mode, as in aircraft carrier and plane, rather than robot and plane. Yeah, two planes. Weird. Not too bad though. I don't know a lot about this. It was never in none of the Micromaster transformers were ever in any media that I've seen. I guess were they in Transformers Zone? I think they might have been in the introduction. Certainly I can remember Hot House, those kind of guys were briefly in the introduction. I can't say I really recall them from the episode. I know they made one episode. Maybe they had bigger following in Japanese comics. They probably did, but I don't speak Japanese, I don't read Japanese, so I don't have the comics. But certainly in the UK, and from what I've seen from the US, he might as well not have existed. A fairly decent Transformer though, particularly if you have him in the alt mode. As I say, as a plane he's rubbish. As a robot he's rubbish, but in his alt mode he's alright. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Please do click on any links below, and why not subscribe to some other videos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.